Hi everybody, I'm Digital Super Saiyan 3 back with another video. And today I'm giving you my retro wrestling pay-per-view review. This time, the Great American Bash 1997 took place in Moline, Illinois, June 15th, 1997. And well, it's one of the few times in WCW in 97 when it comes to their pay-per-views where we didn't see the WCW World Championship, the Cruiserweight Championship, the US title, and the TV title. The only two titles that were on the line on this show was the WCW Women's Championship and the WCW Tag Team Championships. The main event of this show is a match between Diamond Dallas Page and Macho Man Randy Savage. And I shit you not, we will get to it when we get to it. Our first match, we start off with Ultimo Dragon defeating Psychosis in a really high-flying, death-defying cruiserweight division matchup. A very solid match between Psychosis and Ultimo Dragon. Ultimo Dragon is facing Psychosis because Psychosis allied himself with Sonny Ono. Hired by Sonny Ono as his mercenary, if you will. Mercenary to basically to take out the Ultimo Dragon because Ultimo Dragon was betrayed by Sonny Ono at the previous month's Slamboree pay-per-view during his match with Lord Steven Regal for the WCW Television Championship. So, Ultimo is out for revenge, and he's having to feud with most of Sonny Ono's henchmen that he's being forced to fight against. Next up, we got the Steiner Brothers and Harlem Heat in a really amazing tag team match. This tag team match was very, very good. Up until the ending when Vincent got involved and he attacked Stevie Ray. I think it was either Stevie Ray or Booker T, but yeah. So Harlem Heat basically wins the match via disqualification. And, of course, Vincent got involved in this. What more is need to be said? It's still a solid match. Really didn't like the ending of this match, but hey, this was the time of the NWO here. Next up, we got a really shitty excuse of a match when Conan defeats Hugh fucking Morris. Conan and Hugh Morris. And a really piss-poor match this was. I mean, I love Conan, don't get me wrong. I did think Conan's matches that he had previously were great, but on this night, Conan was not that great. Sorry, Conan, but you shouldn't have been wasted. You should not have been wasted with Hugh Morris. Next up, another piss poor of a match as Glacier, fucking Glacier, the Sub-Zero ripoff that WCW had, defeats motherfucking Wrath in a shitty excuse of a match this was. Previously, Glacier had defeated Mortis, and now Wrath gets involved. Wrath made his debut, and he's being accompanied by James Vandenberg. Okay, so Glacier could beat Wrath and Mortis in singles competition when Wrath and Mortis are not in the ring against Glacier at the same time. But in tag team action, however, that's a different story. So, yeah, Glacier ends up winning the match, but he ends up getting jumped by James Vandenberg, Mortis, and Wrath. And then coming to his aid was none other than Ernest the Cat Miller. Yeah, very, very, very piss poor match this was. No one fucking liked Glacier, and Glacier was terrible. Oh, WCW, why did you have these shitty gimmicks to begin with? Next up, we get a career versus title match as Akira Hokuto takes on Medusa for the WCW Women's Championship. So basically, Medusa is goaded into putting her career on the line against Akira Hokuto, who was the women's champion. If y'all don't know who Medusa is, okay, well, mostly all the younger viewers, or all the younger fans, well, Medusa was WWE Hall of Famer Alundra Blaze, but she wrestled as Medusa before she became Alundra Blaze by wrestling in different promotions like the AWA, and then she eventually came to the WWE/WWF, and she dominated there. Then in 1995, she got fired from the WWF, even while she was still the women's champion, which led up to this famous episode of WCW Nitro, where Medusa threw the WWF Women's Championship into a garbage can. And yeah, so Medusa is now part of WCW and trying to help reshape its women's division. And Medusa and Hokuto have a really solid match here. Hokuto is just basically she's just working Medusa's leg. Medusa's leg ends up getting injured in this match, and Hokuto is working on this leg a lot in this match. But Medusa's fighting through the pain, but nonetheless, Akira Hokuto wins and ends Medusa's career. Though eventually, Medusa does eventually come back and eventually wins the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. So really, this was just, at the same time, retirements with WCW don't last that very long, except for maybe Arn Anderson. Because at least when Arn Anderson retired this same year, yeah, you can see where I'm going with this. Next up, Chris Benoit defeats Ming in a death match. So Chris Benoit battles against Ming in a death match, in a return death match after losing to Ming at Slamboree. So basically, in order to get to Kevin Sullivan, aka the Taskmaster, Chris Benoit has to defeat his cronies, mostly all of the Dungeon. Benoit defeated the Barbarian and the rest of the Dungeon until he now has to face Ming. If he defeats Ming, he goes on to face Kevin Sullivan, and they have their match at the next pay-per-view. Next up, we get the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, defeating Ric Flair and Roddy Piper in a tag team title match, as the Outsiders defend their WCW Tag Team Championships against Ric Flair and Roddy Piper. Very entertaining match this was. Piper and Flair battle the Outsiders. Really good match here. I mean, this was them without Kevin Green. And speaking of Kevin Green, I know I skipped this match, but Kevin Green defeats Steve Mongo McMichael in a shitty excuse of a match. I know this match did go on before the Outsiders versus Flair and Piper, but I didn't want to mention this match. But this match only happened because Kevin Green wanted revenge on Steve Mongo McMichael after Steve Mongo McMichael stabbed him in the back at the previous year's Great American Bash pay-per-view from '96, in the middle of Anderson and Flair versus Mongo and Green, in the battle of the football legends versus the legends of wrestling. Yeah. And now we get to our main event, a Falls Count Anywhere match between Macho Man Randy Savage and Diamond Dallas Page. A very good match nonetheless. It had some great action. They were fighting all over the arena. I mean, even though Savage won the match, DDP looked like $1 million in this match. And this match showcased DDP well, and it showed Savage well. This match was excellent. A great match overall. So, Great American Bash 1997 was a really good show. Very underrated from this year, but still a damn good show from 1997. It showed that 1997 was WCW's year. Well, I am Digital Super Saiyan 3, and I'll see you next time.